This is the story about how I injured my knee. Right, so it happened in year 9, I'm pretty sure, and I didn't warm up before I was doing high jump, and very stupidly, it was the end of the lesson. I got through the whole lesson. I didn't do a single warm up, and the last sort of obstacle that we had to come across was this. It was quite low down, like the bar was quite low down, but our teacher wanted us to try and go over the bar as high as possible. So, you know, I'm quite competitive, so I tried. Basically, I ran the whole of the sports hall. It's annoying because I don't have a video of it, but this was basically me running up to the high jump beam.
Shay.
I tried hopping over it, and subsequently I fell down. As I went over, even I felt a big tear, like you tear a piece of paper, and I was like, "Oh, that didn't sound very nice." Like, what was that? I was already confused. But as I got off the mat, I was absolutely fine. I could walk around, I could do anything. It was fine. And then, basically, it just I kind of went underneath this little bit of rope to get back to the benches where everyone else was sat, and I bent my knees too far down, basically, and that made it tear. I think it's either the second time or that just tore all three in one go. So I might have torn like the whole thing when I went over it, and then that initial going down under it was what then like finished it off. So like if I hadn't have done that, it might have been torn, or it might have just, if I didn't say I like leaped over it and walked away, it might have just torn by itself. So in some ways, I basically got it over with as quickly as possible by tearing it just straight away, if that makes sense, because that's when it just like my knee just basically collapsed on itself. Yeah, so I'm sat on the bench and my knee is locked. I can't move my leg. My left leg is completely like locked still. It was in this one bit and I just couldn't move. I tried moving and the pain was just, I was in so much pain. I was meant to be going to my friend Marcus's house that same day. Sorry, Marcus. Right, I just want to pause the video there because I feel like some people won't understand the disappointment of not being able to go to Marcus's house, because this is what we do when we go to Marcus's house. Remember the disappointment on his face, a disappointment on my face because I've injured my leg and I can't go to my best mate's house. So it was like a double blow. And then, yeah, I went to the hospital, and then it took ages to get sorted. But yeah, when it went to A&E, they managed to unlock it. I was stressing out. I was crying. I was stressing out. It was not good. The hardest part for me though is, I don't really talk about this part the most, because normally whenever anyone mentions it, I normally just talk about the actual knee. But I'd say I struggled the most with the mental side of things, because you just can't do anything. Like, there would be school days where I just wouldn't want to go into school because I'd have to use the lift. The lifter was fun, don't get me wrong, but there was parts where my lesson would be on the other side of school, and the pain on my hands by just using crutches to get over to one side to the other, it would be so painful, and I just wouldn't want to do things. I just want to stay in my room and do nothing. Yeah, so the rehabilitation it was hard because I had my operation 6 or 7 months after, and yeah, it was just a bit like, I had the operation, I had the best day in the hospital, they looked after me really well. So shout out to all the NHS, because they took really good care of me. But yeah, so I only really had 1 day of rest, because the operation really, they just fix it straight away. So you've got like a big bandage, obviously, and I still had crutches just in case, but I could pretty much walk kind of on the first day. It was really weird walking because I hadn't walked obviously for like, you know, half a year basically, so, or just over half a year. So it was really like kind of surreal, like being able to walk. I literally just like kind of broke down a bit because it was just like so surreal when you don't have something for so long. Like a big part of your life is to move around. So when you couldn't do that, it was a bit daunting, but I managed to do it, and yeah, it was all good. I rested up, and it was fine. I just had to like take care of the stitches and clean them up and make sure they didn't get infected and horrible stuff like that, but that was all fine. The rehabilitation was hard because I remember getting thrown right into football right after my injury, and well, not right after, because you have to wait like, I think it's like a month or so, a month or 2 months maybe before you can jump right back in. But I remember when I did eventually go back to playing sports, it just didn't feel the same. I wasn't as fast as I was. I just wasn't how I knew I used to be. It's quite hard to explain, but especially in football, it's the easiest way to explain it. Like, I couldn't really dribble the ball anymore. I couldn't really shoot as well as I could before, especially my left side being my weak foot as well. I was just, if I would never try going for a tackle. I'd be too scared. I'd be scared I'd break it. Hello viewers, I'm in a different location now, but I just wanted to mention that the injury that I had was called, I think it's like a lateral meniscus injury. So basically, I tore my cartilage in my knee in 3 different places, so on the right side, the middle side, and the left side. So that basically means that I didn't just mess up one part of my knee, the whole knee was just not fully functional for 6 or 7 months. So I just wanted to add that in because I feel like I didn't really actually explain what the injury was called. So yeah, like now, like present day, it's actually fine. Like I have no issues with it. Sometimes I'll have an off day with it and it will hurt loads and it won't feel very nice, but overall it's fine. But it's just that 6-7 months without having to be able to walk and stuff like that, it was probably the worst part of my life. Just not being able to do your favourite sports or walk to your, I don't know, walk to the shop. Do you know, like little things like that. It's just, when I was going through that tough patch of like not being able to walk, the only thing I would want to do is just walk to the park and play football. That was literally like my dream at that point. But present day, everything's fine now, but it's just, I always look back on that moment of my life and I kind of reflect on it because it was important for me. So let me know if you guys enjoyed this type of video. I wanted to make more of a heartfelt video compared to the video previous where I talked about Newcastle-Chelsea game. If you haven't watched that video, I'll put a link to it in the description because that's my first ever football related preview. So yeah, let me know if you'd want to see any more videos from me. If you like the videos, if you don't like the videos, then just, I don't know, just dislike the video, I guess. So yeah, this has been Shay Barrett, and I'm gonna finish my walk. So see you later, guys.
Back when I make the girls feel like